Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Movie Deputy Reviews, where we are here talking about another of the Mummy movies. Now, if you're over here on our YouTube channel, you notice we're starting with the podcast image, which is a little bit different. But I'm doing that intentionally because I chose to use two different images, one for the podcast and one for the actual poster thing that I'm going to show you here just real quick. So this is the podcast image, of course, that you saw here on the podcast on our YouTube channel. But this was the original poster that I basically went off of. I just found a different poster for the podcast thing. But so for those missing out or who they think they might be missing out on some of the other characters in this one, this kind of shows you that there's maybe a little bit more to the story than what some may realize. Now, mind you, I do realize that there is probably an entire generation of people who have never even seen this movie, much less heard of it. They typically would associate Brendan Fraser with some of his newer works, and so it's like we've got an entire generation that missed out on him as George in the Jungle, as the Mummy. If you caught Monday's episode, you know what I'm talking about. And today is actually an extra special day because we celebrated something kind of big yesterday. If you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, you probably got the notification about the video last night. Now, why did I post a video so late at night? Well, I probably should have posted a little bit earlier in the day, but as of yesterday, Movie Deputy is 12 years old. I registered the name and the trademark and the copyright 12 years ago yesterday. Now, mind you, the website did not go live, and that's kind of what I was celebrating the actual birthday on for a long time, is the website went live on April 14th, and so for a long time I've celebrated that day. But I'm like, you know what? I probably should go with the actual day that it began. And I started it. You may be wondering, why is April 7th so important? Well, I'm going to be kind of going a little bit off track here from the Mummy Returns, but don't worry, we're going to get back on track here. But on April 7th, 2013, I had been in an accident that I should not have survived. Well, here I am. So I decided to commemorate that day when I was getting ready to start Movie Deputy. And I'm like, okay, I want to do this on something memorable. So I did all of the important work exactly 1 year from the date of my accident. So Movie Deputy may be 12, but I've been here on this planet for 13 more years than I probably should have been, because it's an accident that I've had many doctors tell me that I should not have survived. I had a traumatic brain injury, a grade 4 concussion, and I broke 4 vertebrae in my neck, along with soft tissue damage throughout my body and a lot of lifelong impacts that has nothing to do with the cancer and all the other stuff that I'm battling, but it's just been a ride. And I mean, when Movie Deputy went live on April 14th of 2014, there were only 25 reviews. Now, if you want a good laugh, and trust me, everybody can use one of those nowadays, go to thewaybackmachine.com and look up what Movie Deputy looked like back in 2014. It was amateur hour through and through. But yeah, we went live with only 25 reviews, and now we have, we're approaching 2,400 movies that I have reviewed in the last 12 years. So that is a lot of movies. But we're going to get back on track here. We're going to get back to The Mummy Returns, because that is why you're here. And I may end up doing a whole other bonus episode over on the Movie Deputy channel, talking more about some of those details. If you want to know more, you'll want to check that out. I'll get that up in the next couple days here. Or who knows, I might wait till the 14th to do that too. But with The Mummy Returns, we of course see all of our big action heroes, and they're there and they're trying to fight Imhotep and Anck-su-namun. And of course, the way that the last movie ended, we knew that could not be the end. And so this one kind of fills us in on a lot of that. And this one kind of goes a little bit off the rails, a little bit for what you might think. But these movies are full-on cult classics. This one came out 25 years ago. This one came out in 2001. So now that it's 2026, that's 25 years ago. Wow. That's a long time. But let's jump over and check out the trailer. And then, of course, I will be back with the original review that was on MovieDeputy.com. So let's check this out. Da-da-da-da-da. It takes sometimes a little bit longer.
The 1
Now you're probably asking yourself, what's going on? It's like the other movie didn't include some of this. Well, just bear with us. This one gets interesting.
A force more powerful than any the world has ever known is about to be unleashed by the two people who should know better.
These guys again?
Universal Pictures presents Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz, John Hanna, Arnold Vosloo, Odette Fair, Patricia Velasquez, introducing Freddie Both and The Rock as the Scorpion King.
Now, I've got to add, if you are a fan of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, this movie did him dirty. If you are not a fan of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, you might appreciate what exactly they did to him with this movie. But yeah, I don't want to get too far off the rails with that one.
The Mummy returns.
So are you ready for this one? Like I said, if you have not experienced this yet, this is going to be one to experience. But these are ones that you probably want to watch in order of release. Like watch The Mummy first, that came out in 1999, and then watch this one. And then, of course, we'll be back soon with The Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Sorry, mispronunciation on that one. But so yeah, this one we see the story continue, and you may be wondering who the little boy is. Well, that's Rick and Evie's son. So this one has jumped forward in the future quite a bit. And of course, we see Imhotep, and we see Anck-su-namun, and we see a lot of the other characters, and we see the Guardians, and just kind of how this is all playing out. And there's a lot of mistakes in this one. There were a lot of mistakes even in the first one, but this one, you have to just let the story be entertaining if you want to enjoy this. If you get caught up on the details or on the historical inaccuracy of it all, that it's going to completely ruin it for you. But if you're watching it just to be entertained, there's a lot more to enjoy. Now, let me share with you the original review that had been up on moviedeputy.com. So I got to scroll here a little bit. Let's try this again. This is one thing, I never edit out my mistakes. I just said, yep, that's all, folks. But the O'Connells are an unlikely team of historians. One is a daredevil, the other a scholar. Yet together they bring a balance to one another. Last time we saw them, they barely escaped the mythical city of Hamunaptra with their lives, and I know I mispronounced that. Now the stakes are higher than ever. Why? Because this time it's their son that's in peril. You see, his curiosity got the best of him, and now he is attached, literally, to an item that could change the world forever. The only hope is to get him to another mythical spot before it's too late. Only there's a problem. One side is fighting to get him to safety, and the other side is fighting just as hard to arrive at the same location for a much more sinister reason. The only thing that they have in common is the boy. There are many tie-ins to the last story and a continuation that seems almost confusing at times. The story appears to go in multiple directions, all while trying to stay focused. The sequel to the 1999 The Mummy movie is entertaining throughout, even though it leaves much to be desired at the same time. Some will love it, others will hate it. Either way, it's bound to elicit strong emotions either way. So I wonder what that makes you think of when I read something like that. Well, like I said, it does elicit strong emotions, and their son has something that's on his wrist, and that is what both sides are fighting over. One side wants to get him there in time to rescue him. The other side wants just him there for, like I said, a much more sinister reason, and how they go about getting there. Like I said, if you're thinking historical accuracy, do not expect that with this movie. If you're looking just to be entertained, that's a whole other ball of wax. Now, just because of some of the content can be a little bit intense and the kind of the mummy stuff a little bit gory, I am giving The Mummy Returns a guilty rating. So that shouldn't come as too much of a surprise to anybody. But score-wise, I might surprise some of you on this one. Like I said, it's a bit off from the first one, but like I said, it's still entertaining if you're not paying attention to the details, which I know is hard, especially for people like me who, like, I try to focus on all the little details when I'm watching a movie. And I'd like, okay, at least they're in character, at least they're doing this. But like I said, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, they did him dirty in this one, not just in the posters, but I don't know if his acting was just that bad in this one, or if it was it was supposed to have been like that. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine that. And I mean, there's some other stuff too, where it's like in the first Mummy movie, we believed that, or it was easy to believe that what you're watching on screen is happening. It's easy to believe that because they're in character. This one, it drops in and out of that. It's like they're in character and then they're not in character, and then this is happening and then that's happening. And then stuff is just, you're just watching, and I know it's a movie. I know it's supposed to be entertaining, but some stuff just makes you go, huh? It's like we've all seen movies where our brain just kind of goes, huh? And this is kind of one of those at times. But score-wise on The Mummy Returns, we are coming in at a 5.75 out of 10 on the deputy scale. Not a huge decrease from the first one, but definitely a drop. The 5.75 was the original review that I had given it back. I don't even remember when I reviewed this one exactly. And I was honestly debating about dropping it down another quarter point, but I'm like, I'm going to stay true to the original score that I gave it, because I mean, I'm staying true to the deputy scale either way. A 6 is a good story with some flaws. A 5 is a decent story with significant flaws. And this honestly falls right in between those two categories. So, hence the score. Well, if you haven't done so already, make sure and hit that subscribe button so you get videos like the one that went up last night. And that way you'll get the notifications when those special videos go live as well, because you don't want to miss a moment of the movie deputy content. And plus, we have an extra special announcement on the YouTube thing from last night's show. Like I said, I probably will do a little bit more of an in-depth program over here on our Movie Deputy channel, not the Movie Deputy Reviews, where you can find these wonderful episodes, but our other Movie Deputy channel that just is the title Movie Deputy. So if you have, like I said, if you haven't done so already, be sure and click those buttons so you get the latest and greatest Movie Deputy content. And as always, I will be back soon. Bye, everybody.